Hey ladies and gentlemen, but well, I'm doing my hair right now, but I have a very long, like the fish, story to tell you. Get bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, this goes back to 1996. In 1996, the way I'm doing it, it's coconut milk, like coconut grease. It's good for the hair. Coconuts are good for everything. It takes me back to 1981, maybe. Now, to start the story, and this is going to be a pretty long video, so hopefully I don't lose it because someone's all over my phones, all over my stuff, trying to actually call me like they know something. And that's all they know is something. Because someone, and this is quitting smoking, is Baker-acting me for quitting smoking cigarettes. 3 bottles of aspirin later. And that's how this story is actually going to go. That's just aspirin? I'm thinking I can get through things suicidally. We'll just say, and I've had 2 massive suicide attempts. One, I was recently in my life was saved by a man named Elvis, and he's a phlebotomist. He's a phlebotomist for my doctor, who works off of Himes Avenue, Dr. Frank. Not to sit here with commercials going on, but yes, he saved my life. It was really weird. He came in for a blood test, and I had taken a lot of pills again. But I'm having a hard time recovering because suicide is one of those things that never ends. It'll smack you in the face. It'll treat you like Kurt Cobain didn't die and Tupac was never shot. It's suicide. You know, it's a homicide, it's suicide, and it kind of doesn't end. So it starts in the 90s. And at this point, my parents have their own business and plenty of money. There's money everywhere. So my parents go through periods of what I would say running away, and then periods of like almost death. To the point where now they've decided that my man is invisible, and the only thing I'm comprehending is that he possibly is related to the invisible man, which is kind of funny. I like that, being that my name is Lee and I am being Linda. This is not being Linda. I mean, pick a checkout name if you want to. That's not it. So I went to an art school at one point. Okay, where do I start? Where do I go back to? House. We'll start at House. Now, I was in House for reform. And luckily, by the end of what they call prep school, preparation, is prep. It's prep, preparing for the older classes in life. I had been humiliated, and that's what this individual was into. Her name is Miss Stubbs. Sorry, I do talk with my hands a lot. I just found out I'm actually Sicilian, and that's what's going on. Because when I was born, I knew that my destiny had something to do with the mafia. And then I joined the Brownies, which helped. And then I became a Girl Scout, which helped also. So all these things are great. And now I've graffitied, now I can rap. Now it sounds like I can rap. I mean, if you put a beat on to this, I'm still rapping. So I've learned at least how to administer. And I'm going to do my hair while we're doing this, because I'm not fighting with Kevin Rose anymore. And that's a long story, too. Anyway, I don't know if you need a divorce. I mean, anything. Call Mateo's bail bonds. Not like no one wants to call Mateo's bail bonds. Mateo's bail bond. Bail bonds exist. And that's what's funny. My man knows how to bail people out of jail, in and out, depending. However you'd like to be bailed. But now we're going to work on actually bailing people out. Which is more work, but not really. Not for people like me. Not for people who can sell iced Eskimos, for example. Anyway, so we're going back to the house. Wow, this might be an hour long then. But the suicide girls in particular, sir. One, or madam, or ma'am, Ms., whatever, Miss Becky even, whatever you're trying to be called, the suicide girls in particular have requested that I talk about suicide and not just what it felt like, what it's like to come back from. So I'm off today from work or whatever. I'm an art therapist, but not on the low, in real life. And accommodations have to be made left and right because I have 2 neurological illnesses, which I found out after the suicide. And 9 million people Baker-acting me, which I found out is some kind of emergency way to do things, okay? Now, the Baker Act should never be issued because my parents work for what's called NAMI. And now I have to put example on the Baker Act, or someone stupid gets a hold of my apartment or unit number and then decides that they can just re-Baker-act me over and over again, like it's some kind of effing joke. But that person's probably not in my life anymore. Either that's something different. It's cutting people off. after something like this is happening. I mean, if you want breathing room, as I'd call it, try claustrophobia and getting off of that. Okay, but these are people's problems that have now magnified themselves onto me, because claustrophobia is a rough one and fear of heights is another one. Both of those things, those two things, not to British swear at you, both of those things have become a bigger problem. I probably apologize for swearing, but everyone knows everything's rated MA. I always rate things MA. You can't come to my YouTube page and see that it's rated MA. It's rated MA. Never forget things are rated MA. I got my MA stuff. Boom. Favorite gang though, red and black. Hate to tell you that. Anyway, okay, because the red and black gangs have taken care of me, like I needed to run away, be put in a different gang, which today we're thinking Latin King, and we're going to stay thinking Latin King, but if you'd like to switch gangs, you can come to me for that also, and the Stitches, and PETA, and you name it, you name it. It's not like you don't get it. Today is hair doing day. Yeah, I've been doing hair. All I need to do is get Euphoria to write me the license to just do hair. I'm hailing people from a different apartment complex where people have dealt with suicide being the only option. Nope. Period. Here you go, bitch. Here's the last of my money. You now must commit suicide or you won't see me again. Type stuff. Okay, and that's great, but no one's okay like that. No one's ever been okay with that or like that or has a YouTube or okay, got one, and no. No one's okay on those levels. And so while I'm doing my hair, and it's Sunday today, and this is rated MA, and it's a nice breezy day, and on the weekends I tend to do my hair with coconut oil, which is worth $1 billion. So if you do shop on Amazon, which I'm someone who works not just for Misfits Market, because Misfits Market, I'm an influencer, but I'm an influencer for both Misfits Market, and all I'm waiting is for someone else to make the connection that I'm a Misfits Market influencer and then get my address from me. Friends are hard to come by, and relationships are heavy duty too. Luckily, my husband-to-be and I both love the color red and aren't really stopping at that. Oh no, right now, even, there's some girl that has been, as they say, in tow, following us around, and this individual has now gotten face surgery to look like me. Oh no, Chesapeake, Ohio, the Ohio Reformatory for Women is where she's at, and good, is how I feel. Right now I'm fighting with my man, and that's great. It's usually a quiet fight, but now he knows that maybe the camera's on my face, not my vagina, which is another big problem. You want to talk about CASA? The domestic violence shelter gets shaken down in real life next. Because my best friend Julie doesn't comprehend who's cooler than who or something. It's not it. What CASA have failed to do is delete everything from gadgets as they come in. Nope, that's what they've done. Yes. They failed to delete things from gadgets as they come in. So if your phone has a camera, it can't be sent to a domestic violence shelter for free. Oh, this is just another reason to commit suicide, but this isn't what happened. I'm going to tell you all of it, but we're 8 minutes in. Good. I mean, suicide is enough. Like as the grave diggers say. So you want to die, commit suicide. Yes. And you can't dial 1-800-cyanide line, but I'll be honest, someone needs to really dial 1-800. They need to call up the guy with the smiley face. 'Cause we all do. At least this is America, where the smiley face guy exists, okay? We'll just exist him for right now, because I've been working on dispensaries with Uncle Snoop and everyone. Heavy, and the new Eminem song is really good. If you like Eminem, which everyone does, it's called Perfect. And it's Eminem and Nas. Perfect. You need to watch. Not one of those guys already knows me through Passion Hi-Fi, who's my beat dude. He just makes beats, but I have to physically have $1 million before I owe him anything, and that's what I like. So that part I've integrated into Nation of Poetry and Lords of Chaos, because once everyone has $1 million, then everyone can share $1 million. And good. And thanks to Jeezy, we can all make $1 million in a week. I mean, thanks, Jeezy. And if you're ever looking for DJ Payne stuff, I'm DJ Payne. My whole area loves me. Because they're just like, what do we do with Payne's music? And she's not just a musician, she raps and everything. The area is complicated at best, but this is one of the most dangerous areas still, because if you know the shortcut, it goes from the Emerald Bar straight back into what I would call the hood, which, as it looks like I'm still moving, yeah, usually at that point I get the moment of inspiration. Right now I'm trying to detox from nicotine and Nicorette and what was in the Keurig the other day. But I have a wish list now. My website is Death and Art, all one word, WordPress.com. And you can go there too. You can pay me, you can send me stuff. My wish list is on there too. Also, so make sure I get stuff that I can sell even. And then we're gonna figure out trading, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna figure out trading, and that's what we're gonna do. Because trading is the next step before Uncle Matt upstairs. Uncle Matt upstairs, if you read the actual Bible, you know Uncle Matt upstairs has a girlfriend named Lee or Lily until someone changes the Bible to where she's not invited. Trust me, she's invited too. Oh, and my webpage, by the way, you can click on the phone, and the phone, literally, the Google Me is a button. You click on it. The phone is a button. You can click on it, and it's the latest news. Everything, yeah, and then there's a little minute window at the top that you can pull down everything, and Thug Life itself is on there now too, because I know that I'm at least famous enough for Thug Life to be on my website and everything I've got to say about it. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff to do, and that's great. You can search for me online, you can Google me. You know, does anything else need to happen, Mr. Rose? I don't think so. But Mr. Rose and I, we're not fighting. Mr. Rose is so close to me that his what is a what as usual, but fam will do that to you. You can marry like 10 million times and you can floofy all you want to, but suicide doesn't go away. It tends to or tries to, but does not. Now, in the 90s, my parents have their own business, so we're a self-employed family. Yeah. It's a rough one because the whole family is self-employed, but at this point, we've just migrated from Kenya, East Africa. Now, in Kenya, there was an incident which we'll never forget my father, but fair was fair, and we've dealt with it in court and in jail and everything else. And I get it. Only Miss Becky only wants to watch this station, and good, because this is specifically about and for the suicide girls who want to know how many clothes my wife took off. Trust me, my wife took her clothes off too, but my husband doesn't get how hot my wives are. I mean, I've got one who literally basically worked with Hillary and Donald Trump, and I'm just like placating her because I can tell she's pregnant with someone's child. But never forget this, my best man, and that's here in Florida, they donate sperm. So if any paternity tests even come back and shoot you in the face and you're like, I was even fixed, the judge made it so. Julie, please let it happen. Hakuna Matata. When the paternity tests are done, they're not going to mean diddly squat now. Because I've had someone harvest 2 of my eggs without permission, which is not okay. I don't sneaky in the night go for that. And then I've had all of my men donate sperm anyway, Congo or otherwise. So if you come to Florida and you're trying to get pregnant, please don't then turn around and look for the paternity, because it's not that anymore as of this conversation. But it's not like my face isn't copyrighted. Yeah, it is, and so is my vagina. Remember that, ladies. If you're cool with me and you know me, your vagina is nobody else's. It's yours. Because your attitude sucks and you act like me and you and great. We can all day, but I've copyrighted the cool. If you've been following LeeLee TV, I've copyrighted people's cool. And good for us. Good for all of us. Oh no, if you're not cool enough to get out of jail, though, you won't be. Like, totally Chesapeake, Ohio, like totally some girl who looks like me, totally human trafficking thinking. These are just thoughts. Oh wow. Well, check out while you're okay. Check out. Listen, you check the fuck out. Sterrated what? No, I don't have a car because of that. But it's rated MA, so we're not gonna worry about it. Anyway, back to suicide. So I'm thinking the only way I'm gonna die, and that's what's weird, my DJ name is Pain, but yeah, I'll bring the pain. You know, the only way I'm gonna die is to commit suicide and dial literally 1-800-cyanide line, which is heavy because cyanide is cyanide, and I'm pretty sure that that's why Hitler, we're still on suicide, not cyanide. Well, Hitler and Eva, I think they took a cyanide, large amounts of it to die. Now, Hitler and Eva Braun, and this is the Nazi stuff, because don't worry, I'm basically Walt's child. Don't worry about that stuff. This is just my house in St. Pete. When I get to Orlando, I have rights to build for Walt. I've got the application ready for Walt. I mean, If Walt Disney hadn't saved my life, I could have ended up a Nazi, like a lot of my family were back in those days. Now I have a condo across the street from the Holocaust Museum and 620, and from the blocks away from the Dali, but the Dali is another story. And that doesn't have anything to do with suicide. So Kat kills herself. Now we have a friend named Anna Catherine Mayer, and it's Meyer. Now this individual is probably one of my favorite people in the world, but she's the love of my best friend's life. And that's what's scary. She's the love of my friend Pedro's life, who's from Nicaragua and a beautiful man, but suddenly Kat, it was like she pre-augmented and then de-augmented to her own suicide. Not to get technological. So it's scrunchie time. This is where I keep my scrunchies. I'm just doing my hair. Now, here in America, we put grease on our hair anyway, because I'm a greaser too. Thanks, Rizzo. But here, yeah. Now, what's weird, I usually wait, if you're my hair news, because this is a heavy story. It's not going to leave you. So the first thing I do is wait for my hair. The first thing I do is wait for the grease to set in. And I use coconut oil usually as grease. It doesn't even matter. I have sage oil. It smells like a birthday cake, but yeah, that's what we do on Sundays. We, as in me, myself, and Vivian, who you guys know, the suicide. I just looked at her and Rihanna stuff. I'm kind of mind blown that the suicide girls even want another suicide story, but they won't get it. Yes, but it's a long one. I'm talking hour-long documentary. Get your suicide here, ladies. It's a lot of story. So, in real life, there's a guy downstairs who can't comprehend how to not complain about me. Now it shows that I'm gonna have a reason to. And if you'd like a divorce on that one, then don't mind me. When we're done fighting, I'll call my man. We'll get one for you. I mean, how many do you need? But anyway, right now it's after 10. Your alarm's gone off. The language is still there, man. That's enough to complain about. Can you get away from the woman that I'm in love with? Traveling crack party upstairs. It's not good. But hey, my husband could be up there. For all I know, he's just trying to figure out how to make free things go somewhere. Dude upstairs, can you grapevine the fact, thank you, that you can go to 1-800-flowers.com and send everything. Who is she? Why is she still on the phone with you? Okay, anyway, that's Belinda S. Adkins. She's someone who does jobs around me and has done that since she moved to Ohio 9 million years ago. She's ever getting out of Chesapeake, Ohio. This is her last phone call to the dude upstairs, and I'm thinking it's my husband. I guess not. Back to suicides. Now, my friend Dirty Vixen, I think I used to call her, did photo shoots years and years ago with the suicide girls. And good for her. I mean, if you even call my Angel's bathing suit, I'm the one in the relationship who actually wears clothes and can. I'm allowed to. Yeah, they let me wear clothes and it's nice. Oh no, I am seeing that people get snipped and clipped and miscarriages happening, and I'm just doing my part for the suicide girls because I know you guys want to see what we're doing. We as an entity, me, myself, and I. It's such a long story. During the time, I know, and the bricks never leave the walls, don't worry about that. During the time Vivian and I were the closest, Vivian, how did we begin? Back on Vivian suicide. Let's go back to Kat. Anyway, Kat Meyer is her name, Anna Catherine Meyer, who has killed herself at this point, basically. She's in our life. She's trying to figure out what homelessness looks like. She knows she doesn't have a home. And I just ran into one of her daughters, I think Sagittarius, born in 91. And it's like their family doesn't get out of the asylum. It's kind of where they live until you really find them, and then you've actually found them, and then they go back to it, and they keep thinking that's what I need in life, and I don't. I am another therapist. It's all day, every day. It doesn't even change where I live right now. You can look at my wish list, and it should tell you, but it's not going to tell everyone. Like, no one's allowed to stalk me in my house, because if you stalk me, it's just going to end up bad again. Now, one thing I can't find on my wish list is my material. It's making me kind of nuts, because it should be at the top there, but I digress. I do digress. Yes, occasionally I do, but I'm allowed to. Oh no, no one's my boss. I'm my own boss, and always will be until, the sir upstairs hangs up the phone or some crap, because we're fighting right now, and it's not cute, because when we fight, I usually don't speak, and now he gets to peek at my work, or he thinks I want his cell phone, something, anything, dude. The dude upstairs is owning me for ponage for no reason. Anyway, Patty, who just got fired from AT&T, is another reason to commit suicide, but that's not what happened. I lost my best friend twice at my old house. One was Uncle Joey. You know what Uncle Joey did? Oh, where do I begin again? Uncle Joey he wanted to go be with his wife. He's an old mafia dude, which I know a lot of those, and he wanted to go be with his wife. And so what he succeeded in doing was committing suicide in real life. Now, no one's gotten over Uncle Joey, because in real life, people don't get over people like that, ever. People like that don't ever, ever, ever come back in real life or equate in real life or anything. So what Uncle Joey did was kind of experimentally commit suicide in real life. He took enough mescaline to kill him in real life. 2 people. We'll just say 2 people. Singing Vivian and I were very, very close during that time. And it was weird because I was discluded from things in real life, which I don't do very well. If I get discluded from parties, discluded from wakes, discluded from funerals, discluded from anything, I don't do that well. And I do tend to withdraw, yes. But that doesn't mean I'm going to commit suicide. That means that other people probably might, though, as famous as I am. But I'm not killing anyone. Like, understand that I live underneath cameras for a reason and continue to. I try to. Look, I wear this. This can hear me all day long. I'm fighting with a neighbor upstairs. Anyway, ladies, so what's been really, really bad is that since then, our friend Kat killed herself too. Now, we've watched Uncle Joey kind of mafia kill himself, and I love it. Great, good for Uncle Joey. But the second person that's killed herself, and her name is literally Anna, and she's a gorgeous redhead, and now she's killed herself also. Now, how she succeeded, I don't know. Like, she literally had a bunch of reasons to do it, and I get that part, but how she succeeded, I don't know. Now, the only thing I can come up with the suicide is that she worked at Walgreens at one point, and incidentally, it was one of my brothers. She's a pharmacy tech. And it went back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth until she couldn't push away what was going on with her. And somehow managed to commit suicide. Now, if you look for her obituary, which you can, and I've done a lot of stuff recently, because during those years, and this is when Kat was in my life, during those years, 3 of my main people, my most favorite people, lost their houses in real life. I lost my dream home in Gulfport. Pedro lost his dream home in Gulfport, and my friend Starshine lost her, okay, this is my Mad Hatter though, lost her dream home in Gulfport also. So I'm hoping that when Stephanie next calls the attorney there, he can at least refer us to someone who can make sure that we are at least avenged over our dream homes. I mean, suddenly I'm so loud that no one can hear me. Like, Tupac is back to life. I mean, a lot of stuff is going on, even Kurt Cobain. And that's the worst part, is getting back to the beginning. So my first major suicide attempt, and this is when my parents were self-employed, and we had a little motel, and I worked hours and hours and hours. That's what I did around the clock. because I'm still repenting for the crazy stuff that happened in the house and the crazy stuff that happened between my brother and I and the crazy pictures that my father took, which he took all of those, and us being naked. But eventually my brother and I run away to America, and that's good too, but our parents are still too close, because when they're so close, they tend to not nitpick, but they'll pull us apart, just like the wall. So this is 15 or 16, and I've just gotten to art school, which right now, by now, that I qualify at least for art school. So even my swirly in the back rules. But anyway, at this point, I've gotten into art school, and I've been in art school for quite a while. And these two bullies, and this is really what's weird. I know there's divorces involved in this, but there's an attorney who's probably going to call me at this point about these two girls because they are bullies. I'm talking to Petra and Melissa are school bullies, and they've bullied me out of art school along with Miss Mitchell. Tony Mitchell has been bullied, and Mr. Ray, he's been bullied. All four of us were then bullied out of art school after I even was Mother Earth at this particular art school, PCCA. And that was it. That was my first real suicide attempt. I'm trying to leave. I've got counselors on my side. I'm doing great. Even Sean King went to the school, skips high school. And if you know Sean King, he went to Tulane. He's one of the biggest quarterbacks that have ever existed. He's one of my friends. He actually was flirtatious with me, even, and legitimately, because my honors I did not receive. And what I said to Sean King, and this is the 10th or 20th times I'm on my way out, I tried to commit suicide. I didn't succeed somehow, and 2-3 balls of aspirin later, I am back at school because what my parents knew to do at that point was make it so I threw up over and over and over again until they figured out where state mental health is, or if it looks like state mental health. And this is way back when, before I went to work, and then the next thing I did was go get a job, so I'm working 2 jobs anyway. But between these 2 jobs, I've thrown everything up. I'm talking 2 bottles of pills, guys. Aspirin, mostly. How I'm alive, I don't know. I'm very, very lucky to be some kind of fallen angel. I mean, I can communicate with both the Church of Satan in this lifetime. Because if you look at me, I look like it. Oh, man. I love the flapper look. I love being a model. I love being alive. But yeah, that suicide was really, really bad, because if gang intelligence got a load of me, which I know they did, during those lifetimes, they comprehended that I could survive pretty much anything. And that's how I became a regulator, which is, this particular building is my regulation building. It's the building I regulate. But someone real stupid here is deciding that what they can do is make her act a regulator. So things go down without the regulator. Is that how this is gonna go? No. Doesn't matter really what gang you're in, it doesn't. And gang or not, it doesn't. I mean, it's so bad that I've got one of my exes trying to have me physically killed. And now I'm on TV saying it. And when I say TV, I mean YouTube, because it's not like everyone can get to their YouTube somehow. Sometimes, which is nice. At least Apple finally made a deal on and off of YouTube and everything else. But wow. I mean, I don't know how many people are trying to kill regulators, but they must be. Someone is. Like, I can't make the movie myself, though. So this is suicide 1, and then there's an occasion. I switched schools immediately. I left the school. I knew these girls were gonna beat on me. I went to Lakewood, started singing again, because this is what I really do for Walt, is sing. I don't know who's got video of me singing for Walt specifically, but the Grand Floridian is a giant motel, or motel. Who said motel? You're a motel, bitch. It is rated MA. All of it. It's a giant hotel thing at the Grand Floridian. I usually sing every year and have not sung for a while because I'm waiting for other people to come to me from Disney so that those individuals will do something different with my life. Because I can't transport myself. I'm in a chair now, and it's very, very scary not singing just to the Grand Floridian. Now, at that point, I was working 24 hours a day for this little motel that my parents owned. And then it changed again. I got a job at cash and carry, and that's horrific too. While I was at cash and carry, one of the individuals who I worked with, named George, he would not change the blade in my box cutter or, knife. Now, I'm pretty adept and skilled with one of those, a box cutter. So him changing the blade made my whole hand slip. I've still got this scar here. And that scar specifically, if you can even see it, that scar specifically was a box cutter going straight through my hand, which could have cut numerous tendons, even to the point where my brain doesn't function properly. And I don't know why I have protein in my urine, but that's not okay either. I mean, Dr. Frank, if you get a clue, you'd make sure I at least have my meds. But that's not happening either. Then someone needs to fix something. I digress, though. Anyway, during that time, and this is where I sliced my hand open with a box cutter and eye roll. It's like 52 stitches, it's top and bottom. It was weirdly the number 52. It was very strange because I cut straight through my hand, almost lost my hand. I'm going to Palms of Pasadena, which is where I'm supposed to be going for most of my stuff because I have a pain management doctor that works out of there usually, and he might be back to doing that, but some other individual will say probably my mom or probably someone who thinks they're my mom, and it's the thinks they're my mom at this point because I've seen my car driving around with an envelope full of money that's totally mine and it's not anyone else's. Allison. But you're screwed and I'm screwed because the spelling mistakes, you're gonna get them. I mean, you buy some Boost and figure out how skinny you are. So I'm dealing with, of course, eating disorders because my family have food eating. My family have food issues also, including Lorna, who's upstairs too, thinking she could marry my husband too. Anyway, back to the sperm donation. If you do donate sperm, make sure you keep a receipt. And if you think anyone's hustled an egg out of you without a receipt and given you millions of dollars that you don't know where it came from, make sure that happens too. My Ask Gary's happening right now, which is interesting too. It cannot happen. So I've hired another attorney and another attorney and another attorney. Not to fight with the man upstairs. Whoever that is to you. Anyway. I hate these things. So at this point in time, I sit on a bridge. I'm thinking this bridge is going to be the solution. I'm going to commit suicide. I'm going to finally do it. So I go to jump off the bridge and I don't succeed. Someone even yelled, jump. Now back at this period of time, my friend Julia is pregnant. Very, 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 very pregnant. And so only someone who knows her man, whose name is Than, not Tian, which we said Tan, we used to pronounce it. Now, one of his friends decided that I should jump, that maybe it was a solution, and that maybe my suicide was the answer. Now, I don't go there for that reason, but that's not it. I mean, if you talk to the St. Pete Beach police, they're still looking for my parents, and I know physically that they're on Apollo Beach, but don't have the address. Like it's a joke. Where Roundup weed killer isn't something I was basically eating. And if you want a lymphoma scare, you can have one. But I've had to retain a different attorney because the Ask Gary's happening. And they made me, and now I can finally say it because I have a great attorney on it, sign a hush agreement. Now that can't happen. That means you never get to talk about your Ask Gary. I've called another attorney now and talked about it, but I digress. Again, that happened. Write to one of your high school friends, bye. Anyway, back to suicide. And I know, like I said, the suicide girls, again, want to hear my story, because I'm sure they do. Now, that's two almost, doesn't almost. Time goes by, time goes by, time goes by. No suicide attempts. Then I run into the man of my dreams. We went to college together, or at least I'm thinking this at the time. We went to college together. We're college sweethearts. He's a divorce attorney now and probably still owes for student loans, but during this period of time, I thought it wasn't hot enough and could see what he was really into, which was short, brunette girls. Now, I've seen two brunettes that are tall, and both of these girls have literally had face jobs and hair jobs and probably vagina jobs to be something like me. We'll just say that. And I know I need to brush my hair. I'm doing my hair. I'm trying to take a shower. Just trying. Wow, when my parents beat me inside the shower, that was cool too. But my parents didn't understand their way out of suicide when they had self-employed. They were self-employed at that point and did not know how to get me out of suicide. So what they did was strip me naked, stand me in the shower. This is after all those pills. Beat me senseless against a wall. And this is in their bedroom, one after the other. Like everyone had beaten me senseless. And somehow, because I'm so resilient, I came through that. Yes. Yeah, in real life I did. And not to guilt trip anybody, but this is just one suicide. Now I've got the jumping off the bridge part. And then there's a long drawn out of how do I hurt myself, because then I deal with this other individual who, I've had an abortion. I've had one of those too. Now, if I'm being charged for every abortion I refer, then that's a problem too. I don't need life sentences because abortions existed, and they did. So luckily, I run into this dude who tries to escape me, at least from these two people who know about my suicide, but hates my best friend who has the same voice as me. He's thinking two people are going on, and he's a very, very sick individual. Only probably the Antichrist. That's what we call him. But just him, his child was the Antichrist child, and that person had to go. This was Boyd Nolan Bethany is his name. So be afraid. Be afraid here in St. Pete. Some people come here for 2 seconds, and that's all they get. They don't get to stay in St. Pete. Not many people do. Not many people do. No. I mean, it's to the point where some hoe is trying to make money to go somewhere totally different, has stolen my stamps and the whole collection at this point, and still doesn't know where I live. So I've gotten like 2 calls in with my old phone, and it's very, very complicated because, is she serious? Anyway. Okay, my face is copyrighted, so this is my vagina, though. No, deathandart.wordpress.com. You can go to LeeLee Atkins on Tumblr. LeeBatkins. So it's Lee like the jeans, B, the letter B, and Atkins like the diet. I'm sorry, scratching my lips. Anyway, what's my scrunchy thing? Back to suicide. So, and it feels like that. It feels like I dialed actual 1-800 cyanide line, as the gravediggers would say. Gravediggers is a long story. What do you do with a white girl? I mean, it's a lot of stuff to be white in hip-hop, which you guys know I am after watching videos. You know, this is rated MA. I mean, everything's it's done. My fight with Kevin Rose was huge. I mean, everything else is huge. Back to suicides. So the suicide girl, and I don't know where their contract cuts off, but I'm not a suicide girl. They want to hear about actual suicide attempts, whether you succeeded. Well, I didn't succeed at jumping off the bridge either. So years and years and years go by. Then, unfortunately, this guy comes into my life who's bulimic also, and basically teaches me these crazy bulimia ropes to where I can't get out of that either. Now, during this time, I've just basically retired from cash and carry, and have a little tiny check, and that's because I've sliced my hand open, and luckily my mother knows how to do the Social Security stuff, so I received the kind of check that people wish they had. But it was very, very small and will be until I retire again at 65, and I know that someone stole my SSI even, and I deserve that back also. But I digress, because this is America. We have rights in America, and big ones. The Kai Mussolini once hurt his people. Not to get on Mussolini, but that's another subject we've been on. The crowd and I. And then the dude from downstairs who we can hear from here. His name is Patrick, if you'd like to complain. It's very interesting because I keep hearing riots because a school named Dozier, which another very, very close friend of mine, his name is Carl Sharp, went to the school named Dozier, which is basically a rehab boot camp. And the Courier, which is an African-American newspaper, covering someone suing them. And so recently, since the Courier came out, which is just an African-American newspaper, right? Once you follow me and tweet me and all that stuff, it's there. But the Courier, this African-American newspaper, is suing suing Doja. It's like having a ship that can come in, I think. It's really good. It's great news because truthfully, people like he and I deserve to know each other. And we don't deserve other people like trying to figure out where we're at or what we're doing or whose bills didn't get paid because, like, I'm understanding someone's trying to steal my medical identity. And it's not worth 50 G's. It is at least double, quadruple that. It's the fact that someone keeps sneaking into my house, and her name is Marcy, and her habit is the crack one in general. But then I will wake up and she will have checked all of my cards in the dark to see if there's anything on them. So where I live is deadly. And I'm talking about St. Pete, but here, specifically, some people don't live here and won't ever again. Oh no, I'm just the art therapist. But I've had to set up everything so that truthfully, they have supplies downstairs. And truthfully, people are complaining about this and that. But I know there's room downstairs for a change machine. There's room downstairs. This is for people who have actual chairs and need them. There's a change machine. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very angry. I woke up angry. I know I need to still brush my teeth and everything. I mean, who cares? It's probably going to have a filter on it by next week. It's not like you don't know who I am right now. And I can breathe. I rarely smoke cigarettes, and I've been smoking hemp cigarettes, and I'm trying to get the nicotine out of my system because I can't stand nicotine. Nicotine or Nicodermus, the demon thereof, just keeps speaking every 15 minutes, but the crack party upstairs hasn't changed. I promise you. Oh no, since the 90s. Since crack came out. Oh no, Wesley Snipes did come out. Donna Mateo's, like, is his boss. That's his boss. He went over the bridge in that movie and probably actually did. Which reminds me, if anyone can talk to Spike Lee and Wesley Snipes, can you ask them to go to the 5th Avenue Plaza? It's 5th and 34th Street here in St. Pete, and cover a gangster called Killer. She's one of the first female regulators here in St. Pete, and that's me still. My nickname is Killer B. Which is another long story, but anyway, then I go into eating disorder treatment 9 million times. I'm talking, I basically recreated it, but only basically because of the anemia thing, which I know some of you girls are still following me because of that. Faded quickly. And I didn't like it, but yeah, if you want hot tips on becoming a better bulimic, because this guy Boyd is not beating the living shit out of me within the first 6 months. I mean, we've got cocaine everywhere, there's drugs everywhere. He spent my back pay, which was at least $21,000, which I deserve back too. I mean, the whole nine. But he's physically beating me. Oh no, he'll never get that back. He has to turn it back around and give it to me. But Social Security and my payee aren't listening to the fact that they owe me money. Not the other way around. And need to. Without me, things don't run smoothly. End note. I mean, me too, hashtag. So now the bulimia war between myself and other people is started, and that's the anemia thing, and it goes on and on and on and on until I've gone to Winmore for help, and I've also gone to the Willows for help, and it's hard to get help for bulimia because no one should have that. But if you have that, make sure you cure the problem with eating, and eat and don't throw up, and don't throw up and don't feel fat, and don't worry if you're fat ever. You know, because these are the things that kept me from my college sweetheart, who might not be that for a while, because now I've got like 9 million dudes that are into me, including Eminem, who, perfect, back to perfect, with between Eminem and Nas. I didn't work with that on that song. I mean, this is interesting, but we have money ties and squad ties and student ties. I mean, how many hoes do you need with your brother? Which is different even still. Different even still. Anyway, so I threw Uncle Joe in my struggles with bulimia and living in the Kmart parking lot, which I know you guys have heard Tani's troubles anyway. After that, there's a lot more other time passed when I built a website and Air's become famous. I've got rappers and I've become a DJ and no one's me. And luckily there's people with my voice anyway, grimy or not. To cover my ASS while someone finds me makes me really, really famous, even as a model, and doesn't really care because I'm a plus size model. I'm okay with that. But someone's trying to literally fatten me up Someone's trying to literally hurt me, and this individual is another individual that I've known since way back in the Hendrix days, we'll call it. I lived in an apartment complex named Savannah. Now in Savannah, and Uncle Joey, we'll call him. Uncle Joey got in trouble for something, but this is an individual that's been on kind of hacker time. This is Gilberto. Since then, shows up, and now I've seen him physically beat men. So he's a he's a homosexual man, was not the problem, but I've seen him physically put his hands on men. And now I'm pissed, because Luis Gilberto is not supposed to be near anyone else, period. Especially not me. And what happened with me was kept out of court also. And that's bad because someone's conniving on a Casa level and on a knitting needle level. Because someone actually took a knitting needle and put it inside my vagina. Very recently, something to do with Machine Gun. Is it Machine Gun Kelly? Anyway. Fast forward time, we'll go through what I called, and this is my college, or at least it was, I called food rehab, which is really interesting because I know he's got the book at least that I wrote about it, and the whole thing is 10 beats per line if you actually count. That's just another 10 beats per line, but I'm stuck on that because I'm trying to perfect the invincibility factor, which everyone's seen and heard, which is perfect now. Her bringer has brought her side or his side. Who even cares at this point, whatever they're trying to be, and has created the rest of Invincibility Factors. Dawn, First Contact is on there, which is one of the most beautiful songs ever written. But She Wishes She Could is literally not good either. That was bad too. That's why I moved from that place quickly, and I'm just don't come to my house without money and weed and flowers and chocolates and everything else, is what I'm saying even to the man of my dreams. Who probably isn't at this point, who probably isn't. It's like I'm memorizing lines. So we go through that. We go through the food rehab thing. We've been through that together because he called it rehab and he used to give us a drug. It's not just food. Food. Food was the drug. I've been to food rehab twice, and that's the worst part. The second time to Winmore, and they don't even do food. I was offered a scholarship, but followed it all the way through. Went in the morning and went to daycare and everything else because I had relapsed when it came to food. Because there was a lot going on, and I couldn't comprehend again with the dysmorphia. I couldn't comprehend if I was fat or small, which doesn't even matter because now I'm a plus size model. And if that's what you need, a stuff model, make sure when you do things, especially on your wish list, that you give me instructions. But I'm willing to model most things, understand that I never do it at my house, and understand that if you send me something, you probably won't get it back because I'm not an Indian giver. And I'm not being broken up with, but yeah, I have another friend of mine who has a habit of trying to break up with me when she's mad at me, which is as creepy as which is as creepy as it gets. The last thing I need is someone who thinks they're with me that is not. Not that I don't miss her, but want back to suicide attempts and drugs and the meth party upstairs. Just upstairs? There's a meth party, a crack party, a thingy party, anything you can do party upstairs. And it's horrifying because I've told Cheyenne and Nathaniel they need to be in rehab by now, and they're not. But what they need to do is stop searching for a rehab and check themselves in at St. Anthony's instead of me. Because they're paranoid up there, because they've cracked out now all night and can't figure out how to not be cracked me, which is not going to happen now because the suicide girls won't let that happen. And no, that's what I comprehend. Fully. Pregnancy or not. I know you guys aren't going to let that happen. So anyway, suicide attempt 3 was more recent. I got in my hands on another crap load of pills, didn't succeed. Someone named Elvis knocked on the door. And at this point, I'm thinking my man is invisible, but very, very, very soon after that, my man calls into my old number, which is a 644 number. Calls into my old number, and that number, which had been hustled out of me, was really, really bad because the girl who had my number made it so my family was even what they call estranged in America. That's when your family can't find each other. They have no idea who they are. So in America, my family became estranged, and I didn't know what to do because I miss my baby brother. I do not know where my family is. I feel like I have nobody, and well, like I said, the man of my dreams, my college sweetheart, did call and at least propose, but it's very hard to figure out what to do with that without him turning into a violent, monstrous individual because there's stuff going on that shouldn't in his life. In his life, totally, as they say here in America. Anyway, Elvis walks in the door, which is crazy too. Because Elvis is a phlebotomist this lifetime, but Elvis saved my life, and I've been okay since then, and I don't think he's okay because he's worried he's going to walk in. And it was strange because we had a needle alert in my area at that point, because I was afraid someone was going to get dirty needled. Long story short, by the time I moved, I watched someone named Yo, we'll call her, put her hands on someone named Miss Pat, we'll call her, and physically punched her in real life. She was punched. And I'm missing jewelry, effects, I'm missing personal things, my passport, the stuff that didn't make it from that place to this place, and there's a reason. I know the drugs are involved, and that's the thing, I'm not a drug addict. My problem is eating, and needing to, and when to. So never starve me. Because as I say, you're starving the bulimic. That's what I say to the neighbors upstairs, and there's a reason for that. But never marry someone in an alternate gang. Anyway, Elvis saved my life. He took me clear up to Dunedin, which is weird too, because the stories around Dunedin are more different, but it seems like it was Chattahoochee stuff. So what needs to never happen is this Baker Act thing again. But my parents work for NAMI, and as much as my doctor, and that's Dr. Frank, tries to get rid of me, I'm only doing the best for him. And the best for Elvis. And the best for their entire company, whatever that is, which is located in Tampa. But thanks, Elvis, for saving my life. I think Elvis is just in shock because of how much I look like most pinup models, okay? So Elvis will be fine. That's not it. Then I attempted to commit suicide again, was woken up again, moved really, really fast. Because at this point, what I'm thinking, my college sweetheart heart is gonna be his proposed, I think. I think he's gonna be. By the time I leave, though, Miss Pat has been, like, beaten up by somebody with a long, long story about where she came from and what she's done, just like me. I mean, mental illness has its perks, but drunkenness can be problematic, too. That's not my problem. My problem has always been food, so I can take something and put it away, except for nicotine, of course, which is horrifying. So thanks Tobacco-Free Florida for throwing stuff at other people, but downtown being a problem for them, which we need recycle bins on every floor, is what I'm starting with, and a newspaper rack for the New York Times closer to the Holocaust Museum. I mean, not even across the street, please. I need the New York Times and the St. Pete Times or the Tampa Bay Times working together on this, because where we live, this particular building, there is room for an SPC or SPJC, which I worked at SPC until it became SPJC until it became SPC behind the desk. This was during 9/11, which is another reason to commit suicide, but I did not succeed or try to. I was a very happy woman with a great man from Ohio. And I've just contacted him today too. So I'm just waiting for the mail to come, not the mail to go. But remember, there's stuff on my wish list, and those cores are great cigarettes, fake ones, they're hemp cigarettes. So if you have a drug test, then don't worry. Don't take them if you've got a drug test coming. But remember, smoking with LeeLee is smoking with LeeLee if you can. Like, make sure I get all the reefer too, if you can send it. That would be nice. It's great for people with eating disorders. Also, they're proving that also, which is good. Whatever reefer is. Anyway, now Elvis has saved my life this lifetime. But I think Elvis he's afraid he's gonna have to keep saving my life, which is crazy. And I'm waiting to see if my doctor, who's Dr. Frank, who's incredible, has saved my life multiple times, but I think they're trying to live in my house, which is not good. This is not where they live. What I need Dr. Frank to do is send me even a t-shirt and some flyers. So when you talk to Dr. Frank, Dr. Wright, I guess, because the customer always is, Dr. Frank on Himes Avenue, make sure he does all my medications and brings to my building what I need. And that includes Elvis this lifetime. It's a lot of stuff. If you're paging Dr. Payne, I'm waiting for Shizzo to actually get in touch with me so we can talk about some of this stuff, because I'm working a lot, hard hours to get things done. But if you just Google me, you can always find me, and there's always more and more stuff. And I'm having a hard time finding you in my material, and I don't know why. I only find it in the UK, which is weird because I was even getting proceeds, and it looks like someone stole my proceeds. So that all has to go back, and the dirty videos on FetLife have to go back, and everyone else thinking they're dating me has to go back because I might get married. At least sometime. At least sometime, if everyone goes back and doesn't complain about everything, we might. Both of us might get married. Anyway, back to Melinda S. Adkins, who's killed someone named Joshua Taylor and is living in Chesapeake, Ohio, and keeps thinking that my man is hers. Well, good, I guess, today. I mean, great whoever that guy is. So that's for Suicide Girls. That was the last attempt. But yeah, actual attempts and succeeding in it, you don't want to even start with that, because I seem to be living through suicides. And any questions are welcome, lady. Any questions are welcome, but taking my clothes off is not an option, though. I don't need to. I wear a ring for a reason. Yeah, au revoir. Ciao.